Sean eating the vegan cupcake with the glass of regular milk.
Love that guy. Shout out Bitsky, VIP on this podcast.
Fuck yeah. That was awesome. I totally was not expecting that at all. Man. All right. So we talked about everything from how he got started in the music, what made him switch from hip hop and stuff to electronic music, but also how he doesn't want to just make one type of music. Like whatever he's feeling that day, he'll sit down and write it in Ableton. And it's a testament to just show like not just how good of a producer he is, but like he spends so much time in Ableton and he's had like a couple different projects. So he's been able to really experiment with different things, and music and an artist's expression through their music is really whatever they're feeling, right? So like it makes sense for people to stick to one genre, but like it could just be his thing that he doesn't stick to a genre. And like that's beautiful, because anybody that knows that's been following the Free Yourself podcast from back when I was doing Facebook Lives on Facebook, knows that my whole thing was hashtag genres are just limitations. So like, I love that. I've been a fan of electronic music since like 2010. And even before that, when, all the stuff was on the radio that was coming out. Like I remember in high school jamming out the Cascada or Cascada. I still don't know how to say it. I don't know which one's right. And also like when Daft Punk was out and like hearing Fatboy Slim and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's so cool to see, he's another guy from Jersey, even though a lot of you Philly guys are going to talk shit. I love you guys. But me and him come from Jersey, and like, it's our home. We'll always have a special place in our heart. So like we're able to bond over that as well. But the common thing here, like another guy from the Graffiti Peer crew. So like we talked about that and the community that we're building and like the diversity in that. And it's beautiful, man. I'm so grateful to call that man a friend. And I'm so excited for his upcoming release called Run. We drop it in this week. I'm so fucking pumped for him. So, Free Yourself, episode 130 something with my man, Eckhaus. Everybody, welcome back to the Free Yourself podcast. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan Janni, and I am naked. And today we have a very, very special guest, my man, Aaron Eckhaus. He has a release coming out very soon called Run. So you've had a couple different projects. So is this going more towards your house project, or is this you don't give a fuck about genres and you're like ready to freaking just release whatever you want?
I like option B.
With this?
I like option B a lot more. I hate seeing producers and DJs pigeonhole themselves into a genre. It's good and I understand it, and I see why people do it, because then like the crowd and you build a fan base and they are familiar with what your sound is. Me, bro, I can come in the studio and make anything from a hip hop beat, like trap hip hop, boom bap. I could do house music, dubstep, EDM trap, like honestly, like my thing is like just whatever I'm feeling that day is what I'm making. And I like that. I've also been struggling with trying to like, what is my sound? So like, this is the chance and the opportunity to just like have fire and fire away and see what everybody's really digging from me and what I really like too now. So like, that's really like the whole concept here.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I do have to start off by saying thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to get to know you even more than we have, because ever since I've met you, you're one of the nicest guys that I know, and it really is a pleasure to call you a friend. Like I'm really grateful to know you, man. And
Bless you, bro.
Everybody that is mutual friends with us in the industry, no one has even the slightest bad word to say about you, man. You carry yourself well. You're just the nicest guy, and we're all happy to have you in the Philly fam, you know. So I'm happy
I got you. Your energy, and I love this podcast. I just want to say that, like, week to week, you're grinding it out, finding new artists, finding just new people that want to talk and like express their mind and like just express themselves and generally, like, literally free themselves on here with you. And I fully support it. And thank you for just having me on here, like, in general. So I just want to return that thank you.
I really appreciate that, man, because this has been one of my I'm not gonna like talk about free yourself. I'm notorious for starting shit and not finishing it. Like that's a reality that I've seen happen in my life. And you know what? This is one of my favorite things that I've ever started, and I love doing it. So why not just keep doing it? It costs me nothing. I get to know all these incredible people, these incredible artists, coaches. And art is a very loose term. Like I've had rappers, I've had graffiti artists, I've had tons of producers across all genres. Like I love it, man. Anybody who puts their heart and soul into what they do. And that's why I really connect with coaches and stuff too, because I don't know if, you know, people that can see that the people that I've had on are coaches that like deeply care about their clients that they have. And because it's not just, none of the coaches that I have are in it for the money. They're all in it for the same reasons that a lot of us are in the music industry. It's like we want to help the world with and give the world something beautiful. And when you have these different coaches and stuff come or clients come to these coaches, you know, they have like deep problems and like issues with themselves, and they're coming to them as like please help me. Like it's beautiful to see like these people like I've gotten, you know, it's beautiful. The past month I've really expanded my own coaching business, and like these people that are coming to me, like,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure
I'm humbled. I'm humbled that they come to me, and I'm grateful that, you know, my college degree in health and coaching, you know, is actually able to be used, and all this like knowledge that I've built over the last 10 years since I've graduated, really 9 years, but you know, but it's awesome, man. And now I get to have people like you on here when you're having a release, when you're having a big show, like anything like that I can help to bring awareness to, bring and because people are going to love you and support you in everything that you do because they like you, you know, the music they're going to like because they like you know? Yeah. And I think you, and this is supposed to be a podcast where I interview the guests. So I'm going to shut the fuck up soon. But like, the whole reason why I'm bringing this
up. I'll ask you some questions by the end time of this.
So far, it's been all about me and my journey.
No, but that's cool. Like, honestly, this was just like somebody, like an old teacher of mine. When I actually paid attention in high school, one of the teachers was telling me that conversation's like a game of tennis. You know, you serve it, and then the player you're playing with serves it back to you. So it's kind of like now you're serving back to me, and I'm gonna hold the ball for a little bit. I just want to say, like, this, like you personally, your energy, like, you're always greeting people with a smile. Like every time I say hello to you, you're smiling, and like that's contagious. Number one, like you return a smile with a smile. Like, that's how it goes. And second, like seeing all like our mutual friends and like homies on here, like you get to learn a little bit about like the homies, like when we're not just hanging out, like what actually goes through their head, like because you can only ask so many questions at the party without being like the weird guy asking too much.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's really cool because like I'm not really the guy putting my face out like on my Instagram, my Facebook. Like I kind of like the secretive kind of like aspect to like my project. And I mean, get to know me and then I'll eventually tell you I make music. It's not like, hey, I'm Aaron, I make music. Hey, like
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a long time. I know that's not the approach. Like it's get to know somebody, build a genuine like relationship and like a friendship with that person. Be like, you know what, bro? Like, would you mind checking this tune out? You might like it. So like
Yeah.
you guys might
Oh,
like this
man.
new tune coming.
Yeah. And of course, I've seen you perform live, and your skills on the boards completely translate from your skills with production and stuff. You know how to blend well, and that's very important to me as someone who started out DJing way before I ever started producing. Like, um, it was cool to see, like, finally I found a way where I can play music, because I was so frustrated whenever I had an instrument put in my hands. Because with sports, you give me whatever ball, whatever hockey stick, lacrosse stick, like I can play right away and be decent right away and then get better. But with instruments, I was like,
Active.
I don't, what is like,
Like
how do you play it? What do you mean? I don't just go like this and I play music like
yeah, right. Like this doesn't sound good to you. Just
yeah.
this. Like so like I'm not really like an instrument guy. Like in middle school, I used to play the trombone only because it solely sounded like fart noises. Real mature. But like you were saying about like like this stuff takes practice. Like I'm like making beats or like aspiring to be a DJ producer since I was 19, and next month I'll turn 29. So we're hitting that 10-year mark like really hard. Now like the first couple of years I was like dating, going to school, like working. So it was like, oh yeah, I can only do like maybe 20 minutes. Then like, the relationship died out, just me, and I was like, well, I'm not playing any video games because I don't have video games. So like, let's treat this as the video game. Then it became like, all right, let me learn the program. I was on Machine for like forever until COVID. So it was just a drum machine and Massive and my sound library. That was it. No Serum, no third party plugins, like straight up, like this was producer elementary school, like pre K. All right. Now I thought like, I taught myself a lot of like, theory. Like I'm not like the biggest music theory buff, but like, I know like everything's got to be in K. Like that's straight up the first
Yeah.
one. All got to be in the same K. So when COVID hit, my laptop that I was like had for 4 years, like since 2016, died, like completely died on me. It wasn't backed up. So rule number one, guys, back your stuff up all the time, regularly. So I lost files, I lost samples, I lost songs that I was like sitting on for years, and like just beats that were in the vault, like ready, waiting for people to like come spit some bars, bro.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, well, gotta like get a new laptop. One, gotta figure out how I'm gonna make music because screw Machine, like let's step it up. So I got Ableton. I spent like that whole summer, like 6 months, just writing in Machine and then stemming out into Ableton and then learning Ableton how to mix, like actually mix the records. Because in Machine, that's one thing that's like really hard. There's no like visual EQ, it's all by ear, and you get only a 3-band. So like Ableton stock plugins, top notch, where if you ask me, like compared to where I came from. So then like, I finally started getting maybe by like January of like last year, 2021, I started getting more comfortable just strictly writing in Ableton. And I mean, you heard at 10 the quarter, we did a lot of stuff there. I mean, even our first EP was all written in Machine, like all written in Machine. Mix. We had like a friend of mine mix and master that one, but ever since like making the switch to Ableton, bro, it's literally not looking backwards, bro. It's straight, just on the road. Like I love Ableton. Like you can't get me back in the machine. You'd have to really have to kill me.
Well, so since I'm someone who 2016 opened Ableton for the first time with under the with the help of Cosmic Academy. And
Okay.
and I had my buddy Chris D'Souza from 2017 on, and I was the guy who, you see me out there talking to everybody. That's what I'm good at. And I learned a lot of marketing and stuff from Cosmic Academy. So like and learning how to do things like this on my own. So that in the event that I was going to pay someone, I would know what good work is like. That's another thing that I've come to realize, or I learned through Cosmic. So I was always the guy that was sitting next to Chris while he was producing and giving the ideas. And so Chris did a lot of the music production. So like now being more on my own, Chris, we still have songs that we haven't released that we want to release, but like Chris has been, he got a new job and all this stuff. And so he's been, he hasn't wanted to produce music anymore. So where I'm at now is I have all this knowledge of like what makes a song a good song, like all the little nuances and stuff. I know a decent amount about music theory, and I know how to use Ableton. It's the mixing and the mastering stuff that's more difficult for me. So as someone who has, transitioned from Machine to Ableton, what are some of the things that helped you the most when you were just getting started with Ableton?
Just like for mixing, or even like this whole music, anything in life, you practice an hour a day at it. 10,000 days from now, you will be a master at that. Now with music, that hour goes by like that, like so fast. You're like, dude, that felt like 20 minutes. Like, so with that, just don't look at the clock. Don't press yourself. Like when you sit down to do your task, whatever the case may be, music or coaching or going to the gym, have a goal in mind. If you want to write it down, if you're like a visual guy, write that goal down. And then when you're done at the end of the day, rip it up, throw it out. Because you smash that goal, man. So like, honestly, like if it's like me, like I would come home, like when I was first like learning Ableton, I'd try to watch at least 1 hour of tutorial and then just like do it, like pause it, do what they're saying, play it again, do it with them. Like, and just, keep trucking, dude. Like just keep your eye on the prize. Like it's so naive and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like everybody says it, but it's honestly just like really like set your goals. And like, like I would be in the shower thinking about like what I'm going to go work on when I get out of the shower and I hit the basement to the studio. You know what I mean? Like get that, like start like, just like embracing. And like, obviously it got to the point where I could just translate the idea into Ableton, like almost like effortlessly. But those like first couple attempts, dude, they're going to be terrible. They're going to suck. Like they're going to be probably the worst piece of music you've ever made. But like, it's like there to go back and be like, wow, like I started like this. And like to go like, I found like a USB like not too long ago of like my first beats and cringed the whole time. Was really happy for the friends that told me to just keep going. Like we're like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, keep going. So like they knew it would get better, but that's life, right? Like anything in life, if you like work hard at it, you'll eventually become a master of your craft. And that's that 10,000 hour rule. Like I love that. I tell that to people, anyone who asks me a lesson, like for lessons and stuff, dude, 1 hour a day on anything music, you're gonna get there. Like if it's just a DJ send his cues for an hour or just downloading tunes, you did it for an hour. And you got that hour better to your goal and what do you want to achieve out of this? So that's, hope I answered that question.
No, for sure. And that's always a question when people are just starting out. Like I've, gotten plenty of messages because I've played so many shows at this point. It's like, it's been, crazy to look back. Cause I was looking at like my resume, and it was like, there's the work resume and then there's the music resume. And it's like, I was just like I was taken back. I was like, man, like if you ask me like if I'm happy with where I'm at in my music career, like I don't know if happy is the right word for it, but like I'm not finished. You know what I mean? Like that's like obviously like I'm nowhere near where I want to be in music, but like looking back at like the shit that I've done, like it's
Like night
freaking
and day, and the progression you like value, like it's weird because like when you see like your friends, all right, for example, you can see the progression in them. It's like you're so close to you that you can't like until you actually sit down and pause, just like pause and reflect. Like and that's the music industry. Like you don't really get a lot of time to like, all right, you put out a hit record, cool. When's the next one?
yeah.
You know, like immediately followed up with the next one. And oh, you just played a great show. When's the next one? You know, like, and it all just snow builds until like either one, you get burnt out and you're like, dude, I need a break, or two, it's like you're just like so focused, like laser, like, okay, cool. And you do your balancing and you're reflecting, and you know, it's all a balance, right? Like music and quality of life will always be hand in hand. Like if your life, like the quality of life isn't doing good but your music's doing good, chances are your outlook on that is still really positive. Like if everything's going bad, well, let's reassess the situation. Let's really calm down. Let's take a break, one thing at a time. But I've also like used this music stuff as like my therapy, bro. Like in any way, shape, or form. Like if I'm having a bad day, open the laptop. Having a good day, opening the laptop. You know, like it's just like my therapist sitting here hanging out, like crushing tunes, you know, and my laptop is the therapist. So like
Well, it makes perfect sense because you're like, for one, sound healing is real. That's like the number one. That's why, you know, even before we had words to communicate, we communicated still with sound and with gestures and body language and stuff. And you know, the Tibetan bowls and crystal bowl healing stuff. Like I've loved that stuff since I went to fucking rehab 7.5 years ago and freaking got my shit together. That's where I was introduced to Tibetan bowls and meditation and stuff. And I was like, I can get high for free. Like I was like, no way. Like
just become best friends. Yup.
I'm like, see, you're telling me I was paying for all this stuff before.
Could have done this shit,
but
man.
We got the chemicals in our brain already, and if I meditate, I can release them. Like,
right on.
It's freaking wild, man. And
one thing we have in common, though, we're both from Jersey.
Shout out
732-908
609
609 all the area codes. Yeah, I mean, that was really cool, like meeting, like, because we're two just like Jersey transplants hanging out and living in Philly.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, I'm from this part of Philly. I'm from this part of Philly. And when you first move here, you don't know that there's all these neighborhoods. It's like, dude, like I live in Devil's Pocket. I live in South Philly. You know, you get north, west. I'm like, okay, like, then someone would be like, oh yeah, I live in this part. I'm like, yeah, sure. All right. Like, I'm not even going to ask you at this point because you're going to think I'm stupid. I don't even know. And then you're like, I live in Jersey. I was like, where? Are we close? What exit? Like, we're on the Parkway. You know, like, so like that's
man.
That's what's up. Shout out to the home base.
Oh yeah, man. Well, let's bring it back now. You said around 19 is when you got this dream for music and stuff. So who was Aaron leading up to 19? Well, let's bring it back.
All right, Aaron, old school Eckhaus, total hip hop head. Didn't even like dance music or EDM until I was 19. Like, I dated a girl whose dad owned 2 nightclubs in New York City. Got to play at both of them, which was nice. I'm not going to plug the names because I'm not going to do that.
Hold on. You're going to tell me and I'm going to edit it out.
All right, wait. I'm waiting on the weed guy. So hold on. We'll pause it here. This is where we cut.
All right.
Cut.
Wait. Clap.
All right.
Hey. No way.
Oh, what's happening?
What's good? We get the first ever Bitsky appearance.
Yo, check this out. I got a vegan cupcake. Milk. Totally defeats the purpose of vegan, but the cupcake part is very good.
Yeah, and then I saw
my spot.
Yo, I didn't even know you lived with Bitsky.
Did I tell you that we were doing this plan? Dude, you got this green light on. You look like you're just fucking like Kermit, lizard person. Kermit,
he's a leprechaun. He's a leprechaun.
Yeah, he's not using all the. Yeah, I don't even know everything in here. Woo!
Oh shit!
All right,
Bitsky bringing space rock to the Free Yourself podcast.
Okay. All right, so we're back. We're back with the new lights. Great intermission halfway. This is gonna be funny. This is gonna be funny to cut this shit up. He's texting me like midway through it.
Sean eating the vegan cupcake with the glass of regular milk.
Couldn't be the more or the worst. Love that guy. Shout out Bitsky, VIP on this podcast.
Fuck yeah. That was awesome. I totally was not expecting that at all.
Yo, he's just sitting up there waiting for me. He's like, oh, all right, go talk to him.
So we were at.
What was I like when I was 19?
Yeah, when you were 19, you were dating this chick, and you were able to play at these two clubs in New York that we're not going to mention. We're going to cut them out.
I also played at Webster, Pacha, Club Above in New York. It was in a hotel. So like New York was really fun. Like I had a lot of fun early on in my career playing New York, and then we had the Jersey Shore bars, which is like Headliner, Bar A.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it for Rumor 35, Deco. But yeah, that was like my Jersey, New York time. And like I really loved rap music, man. Like I love hip hop, love it. Like I can tell you the first time I seen Slim Shady on MTV. Like I was alone, probably 7, eating my cookies and Capri Sun, and like I was like, to my head, I was like, there's a white dude rapping on TV and he's killing it. And I knew forgot about Dre, and I could do the nowadays everybody want to talk like they got something to say when it comes out, you know what I mean? Like, I loved it. And I like started listening to beats, and I had a friend who came over with a drum machine, and that's how I started. Like he was just like, I saw that thing, my eyes were just like, I can now make my own beats and I can rap. Now, obviously, no, we're not rapping these days. Like, who wants to hear this guy rap? But
I definitely do. I 100%
do. But yeah, like hearing the samples, like I would hear like like a Temptations record and like a rap song. I'd be like, "Yo, ma, they use Temptations." Like, and it was just like I stole all my parents' CDs, like typical producer, like typical young producer coming up, like. Had Johnny Cash CD, the Beatles' greatest hits, and then my mom had like the Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Bill Withers. Like my dad was a Deadhead, so like it was just like such a mishmash. Like, and then there was Michael Jackson. My mom loved, like the whole '80s style. Like we had all that, like just in the CD drawer, and I didn't really have to go to like FYE or like. The CD.
Yo, shout out FYE though.
Yeah. Many of you young bucks know that. Yeah, like that's really it. I was stealing their CDs and just like I love music, like breaking it down and like actually listening to like the instruments in the song, like what layers are in, like what's going on in the song. Like if the song's that good, I'll run it like 10 times until I bust the song. Until it's just like, all right, I can't hear it again. So like that's really how it started, was like listening to hip hop, and like even to this day, like I'll like connect the dots of like what samples are where. Like I'm just like, oh, sample this, right? Haha. So like
there was a song
that was
recently,
it. And then seeing like the guy in control, like DJing and controlling the crowd, and the like lights and and the music, and it's just like you have no choice but to like. Even to techno, just bob your head. Like if you're doing this, you're A-okay in the club. Like,
Hell yeah.
so it's just like, that's how it started, man. And like, I think it was like Tiesto's, he sampled, he did a remix to some Tiesto song. I forget. It was
Adagio for strings.
close. It was around that era though. It was like
Yeah.
that era of Tiesto. And it was just like, dude, like I wanted to do this. And then I started hearing like the classics like Benny Benassi's California Dreamin'. I'm like, okay, like Avicii's Feelings, the Feelings song. I forget. I'm so bad with song names. But no, not Levels.
Seek Bromance.
Into Darkness.
Fade
like
into
all
darkness.
Those, like I was a really big house kid. And like it's funny that like I've done a whole 180. Like, and I love house music now. Like, shout out to all the homies, the Impulse Boys, the Realty Record Boys, really bringing the house back into Philly. Definitely needed that.
Hell yeah.
A nice change of pace. I'd love to play a house set. Like, not gonna lie, like real like classic shit. Like that is something I'm definitely gonna want to put in the back burner and like really do that. But I really think I'm probably now these days like more focused on the bass scene. I could just like, depending on how I'm playing it, I can just try to like get in between all the nooks and crannies, you know, like. So I'm just, you know, that's it. That's 19-year-old Aaron to now.
Dude, well, it's really cool, and a lot of our story like parallels, especially. I'm only 2 years older than you, if not like maybe a year and a half, whatever. I'm 31, you're 29, and like all those places in New York, all those places down the Jersey Shore, like
both bumped into each other there and like had no idea.
Yo, shout out to Andre and Joe from the Weekend Warriors for
the boys,
dude.
Love them
to death.
I remember seeing you as remote controllers over there at Headliner, the Base by the Beach. They booked me for like 2 of them there, which was super fun. Headliner is a great Jersey Shore bar.
It's so much fun.
It's a little feisty in the summertime though. Like a lot of fights go on there, but also a great venue. Like they always rock out. And if you don't like it there, you can walk to like the closest next bar, which is like down the street.
Yeah, and what's really cool is once they started, you know, with the pool and having those day parties and stuff. I would love to get the Realty Records crew and everyone out there, you know. But we gotta keep building this thing in Philly and make sure that when places book them and stuff that we're able to bring people out when we go to these places, you know. That's why it's been so cool. Like, and we talked about it obviously on the podcast with Ciroc and obviously on the podcast with Hef, like the building the community that we have now in Philly, like starting with the Realty Records or starting with the Graffiti Pier shows.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. That's like where it all like really started. And I feel like just like it's kind of being like I was at almost all the pier parties. Like if I didn't play, I was just hanging out and we were getting sloppy together. But I feel like that really like when it was COVID and like not everybody was working and like, you know, the vibes were like we were so happy to just be outside again.
Yeah.
And it was like really, dude, that moment in time, I'm gonna freeze that moment in my head. And it was just like so awesome because like now look at everybody who like really got to know each other and became friends out of it. And it's like, oh, one of the, at least 2 of those people are at somebody else's show every weekend. You know what I mean? And then there's like people who are just genuinely fans. Like I've met people who are like straight up fans at the pier, like who like we have numbers now. And like if I have a show, they're coming. You know, like, and that probably goes with everybody else we've had on here. So like the pier stuff, bro, like I feel like that's gonna go down in like Philly underground like lore. Like that aura, like that was a really good time. And obviously we're not done. We're not done yet, you know, like we're just taking it all onto bigger, better venues and different spots. And like it's really awesome to like I just met Sam for the first time at the pier like last year. You know what I mean? Like, and same with Hef. Like, so it was like really
that's cool. How we met.
Like all really close. Cool. And like, yeah, me and you.
That's how we got closer. That's for sure.
And it was just like, it's really cool to like see how that progression went. We're just talking about progressions here on this podcast now.
Well, progressive house is what got us all into this shit.
I loved it.
Like,
Now
to bring it full circle, like that was the stuff that made electronic music like hit finally in the American culture, because it was before I talked about this on my podcast with Andre. Actually, he brought it up that, or maybe it was the first time I had Kyle on, but because he was under a different alias, so we won't talk about that. But
no.
But we talked about how electronic music back in the day, it was all called techno, not EDM. Mm-hmm. And when Tiesto and Afrojack and when they started bringing in like the progressive house over here and like big room style, that's when it started really hitting. And that's when like Ultra Festival has been going for years, but like people that we know haven't started. Yeah. No one that we know was going until 2012, you know, like, but then there was nuggets that were being dropped, like Fatboy Slim back in the day and Daft Punk back in the day, just dropping these little nuggets of like, here's electronic music. Here's what we're listening to in Europe.
What's going to be popping soon, 10 years from now.
You might like this stuff, but no. And then you know, reeling it back. And because I remember hearing
even like that phase where like the hip hop beats became really more electronic right before like big room and EDM took off. Like the beats started getting a little more electro, and like they were sampling some of like the classic house records, but just rap beats over it, which really I feel like, because hip hop was like the mainstream culture from 90 till even now.
It still is,
really the mainstream music. So like they had to like really, like you were saying, like really kind of piece it in there, like show us and then take it, show us, and then here, all right, now you can have it. Now you like it. Now you like it. Okay.
It was really cool to see how the progression from seeing, like, because me and you, we're talking about 10 years ago when we first, 10, even 15 years ago, we're getting exposed to all this stuff. Then big room house comes through and everyone starts loving to go into festivals, but still like you're not hearing this stuff on the radio besides like Levels. Yeah. That was the only one that, and Afrojack might get like Can't Stop Me Now. I forget that might have been the name of it, but like shit like that on the radio. And to now you're getting shit like Illenium and Marshmello on 104.5, the alternate rock station in Philly and Jersey. It's like the progression has been so cool to see. And especially because, I know I've been told this 100 times that like that was the plan with Marshmello. Like we're going to insert something everyone can relate to, a happy face Marshmello. Everyone wants to be this happy, sad Marshmello because it's got, he's got sad sounding songs, but then happy lyrics, but then sad. And now we're going to put rappers in with him. So we're going to get into mainstream. And now it
became the formula. He became like the Jay-Z of EDM, I would say, like blueprint. You know what I mean? Like, unintended.
And now everybody that doesn't listen to electronic music, but they now know who Marshmello and Illenium are. So when a festival has Marshmello and Illenium on it, they're like, oh, I'll go to this festival. But then they have a whole day before them.
They've never met or heard of.
And now they're like, what is this stuff? And I mean, I've talked about this a million times. Like once you go and experience any kind of electronic music, I promise you'll be a fan of it. Like you'll find, and if dubstep is the first thing you're exposed to and it's too much for you, you're not even someone who liked like heavy metal or punk or classic rock. Like you're someone who was way over here with your style of music. Like go find your genre in it. Cause there's something.
Go find some trance.
Yeah. Like there's something for everybody.
Yeah, that's what's cool about EDM. All dance music, all the subgenres now are just like, they each have their own subgenre. Like in dubstep, then there's like rhythm, and then there's like tear out, and then there's like trap, but then there's like hybrid trap, which was also kind of sound like dubstep. It's like, house, there's deep house, there's tech house, there's bass house, like
Afro house, fucking, there's
I'm
so
not even
much
getting
Latin
into all
house.
the other subgenres. Yeah, like, so like, it's really cool that like now it's like a really big thing, and it's all over the radios, and there's radio stations devoted to it, which is really cool because like I remember like being 20, and it was like the 92.3 Saturday Night Dance mixtape, and it would be like DJ El Toro throwing down like Avicii, Afrojack, Tiesto, like all that stuff, and we were just like, let's just turn 92.3 on and go to the party. That's our pregame right there, like,
yeah.
So it's cool. Like that's in like, it just makes you wonder, like, as somebody who's like trying to come up and like break in, it's like, all right, so like, what do I have to do? Like, how do I, that's why I want to blend everything. It's because like, why I love all these genres. I love little bits and pieces of everything. So how can I take a piece here, and a piece there, and make it all one big three-headed monster like Hydra? And we're trying to figure it out, but we're going to get there. And it's just like when we were talking back about coaching, it's like when I get to actually teach somebody some lessons. And, obviously money's cool. I'm not like out here charging people like 100 an hour. Like, I'll do deals with the homies and like, other people like that. Like, it's really for me to like see the look on your face when I like give you a tidbit of information, and then unlocks like a whole Pandora's box in your brain. It's like, I never thought of that. Because like, I wish somebody did that to me, man. I spent so many hours on YouTube, so much trial and error for like 10 years of like trial and error. And like, it's really like, it like feeds back into your heart. It's like, yo, like I was just you. Like in half a year, you might take my spot. Like, like, it's like really about it. Like, it's about how you like look at it. Like, I'm so hungry for it. Like, I dream about this shit, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I dream of like 100,000 people, me dropping an original, and it's just the whole sea of people up touching air, jumping for joy. And it's like that. I'll keep going till the wheels fall off, bro. I might be 50 and that song will come out, and I'll just be hopping up there in my walker, be like, like. Just life, like you just like this whole music thing is like really reflective on your own life and how you take it, and how you can take like what inspires you and inspire somebody else. That's the fruit. Like, that is like the whole grand prize.
Dude, well friggin' said, man. That is like, that's what me and Ruff were talking about. Like, if you finish the project and put it out there, because you never know what impact that'll have on another person. And we've all been there. We all have the song that we can think back to with like either a really great moment that happened, or like a breakup that happened, or like we have the song that like deeply impacted us at that point. Like, Mr. Brightside was a song that me and it was a U16 hockey team that we were, what was it, at Lake Placid. We were playing on the same rink as like the 1980 Olympics, like all that stuff. And so like Mr. Brightside brings back so many memories of that whole group of friends that I was with, and like the win streak that we went on when we started playing Mr. Brightside in the locker room, and all just getting up, singing it together, going fucking nuts. And we like went undefeated the rest of the season, won the division, went to regionals, like all this stuff. And
ran the table, like, yeah. And it's crazy that music can be like a time machine like that. Like, it can literally take you back into a time. Like, for me, yours is Mr. Brightside. We all know that song. For me, it's entire Kid Cudi's first album, like the entire album. Back. Like, I could tell you why I listened to what song, who I was hanging out with, what clothes I was wearing during that time period. Like, like when I first started burning around that time, really into high school. Yeah. But yeah, like, I love that about music. Like, you'll just like, oh man, it's like you hear a song you haven't heard in like 5 years, and you just go right back to like either the last time you heard it, or like the height of that memory. Like you were saying, like your hockey team. Like, for me, it's like the crew of kids I used to hang out with in high school that I don't really get to hang out with anymore. So it's like, it's crazy, man. Like I always say that to people. So I was super happy you said that here. Because it
Hell
really
yeah,
is
man.
man.
It there's so many, beautiful memories tied to, and that's why I at the beginning, we are talking about sound healing and stuff. Like there's a reason why those memories come back so easily, because they were paired with this certain thing. Like whenever we remember lyrics to a song, it's because it's, but like we can't remember or it's harder to remember just like a paragraph. But a paragraph that is in a song, it's easy to remember because it's paired with the music, and like all these different things. When you combine two different senses together, you can memorize things better. That's why the ABCs is a freaking song. That's why all these things are made into music. And it's so, there's sound is, and we're just like scratching the surface with this shit. And like you take it even further. We're talking about this podcast being called Free Yourself. Well, I'm talking about meditation and all this stuff. Well, like 7 chakras in the body, 7 colors in the rainbow, 7 major chords. Like it all pairs up when it starts with what's the root note? It's C. What chakra do you think that's paired to? The root chakra, the one all the way down here. Like, and it goes C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. It's like, it's so cool. And then you multiply the frequency of the music note. So the music note C, the frequency of that, you multiply it by the speed of light, and it becomes red. And what's the color that is paired with that chakra? Red. So this shit's connected, motherfuckers.
Alien shit. Now we're really breaking in the Illuminati right now.
Hell yeah, man.
Bezos, get out of here, Bezos.
Yeah. So
no Amazon here.
When we have different issues with things like say something like confidence, that's it's with the sacral chakra, or the solar plexus, which is yellow, which is T, C, D, E, so it's E. So if you can look up something on YouTube that's in E major, and you start listening to it, and you just breathe, and you focus on breathing and that's like right here in your gut. Trust your gut. That's where all these things. Confidence, trust your gut. Your gut microbiome is all in there. That talks to your brain. It's all of those things are connected. And if you listen to music that's in E major, it doesn't have to be music. It can just be like, I look up things. You can type in solar plexus meditation.
There are frequency, like actual frequency tones on YouTube for like meditation. I've actually had a friend totally put me onto that, and I tried it for a little bit. Honestly, I'm more of just like, let's go to work. Let me like work so hard that whatever was bothering me is so back there for like those 2 hours that I'm in front of my laptop means absolutely nothing. Like that, whatever was pissing me off, like, that's fine. I'll deal with it in 2 hours when I'm done making the song.
And also, your way of you're putting time and space in between what happened and your reaction to it. And you get a lot of clarity when you put time and space in between those things. So your way of doing it, when you go and you dig into Ableton and you messing with all these things, and now because you've got, half of you're thinking about it's in the back of your head, but you're doing these things, you're idle. Your hands aren't idle. So you're not just sitting there just like, fuck, what is this thing? And then same with if someone puts on the meditation and stuff, you don't just put the meditation on and still think about how you're so mad. Like what you think about is the chakra, and you focus on it's like, for this, it's a yellow lotus flower, and you try and spin the lotus flower with your breath. And like, we're getting real deep into this stuff, but like,
I'm getting some learning in today.
Yeah, that's a very basic understanding of it. Like all I'm saying is you just breathe. and listen. Like, breathe slowly and listen in and out through the nose. And that'll change your life. If everybody learned that we're supposed to just breathe through our nose, it would change your life. I promise you. So simple, man. So let's take it. Now we've talked about, how you kind of came into electronic music. And so what's like your favorite memory from like festival Eckhaus, like whether it was playing it or attending it and something happened? Like, what's one of your favorite memories from this 10 years that you've been doing this?
10 years, my favorite music memory. All right. I was in a duo before Tendon Porter. It was called Some Maniacs. It was like 2018. It was called Some Maniacs is what the duo name was. We played this like really crappy bar in AC called the Boneyard, I think it was called.
I know that fucking place.
Don't go there. And we're like waiting, and it's Christmas time, mind you. So there's no tourists in AC. Like, it's literally, why were you even down there? Like, if you're not at the casinos, So I'm sitting there, mind you, I was raised, we're going to get a little religious here. I was raised Jewish, and it's Christmas time. My mother was Irish Catholic growing up. She converted before marrying my father. So I've got a little bit of Catholic. I got a little bit of Jewish. I'm wearing a Christmas suit. Okay. Red suit, Christmas trees all around it. Got the Santa hat on. Not looking Jewish at all. So my grandfather's rolling right now, probably in his grave. But
rolling face.
So like we're getting ready to play, and I'm like getting at the bar, and like I grab a beer, and the guy I'm DJing with, the duo, his name was Steve. He's like, "Yo, this guy says he played for the Yankees." And I'm a huge Yankee. Okay, like grew up. I was at David Cohen's Perfect Game. Like yeah. I was 5, but whatever. So I'm like, all right, point me in this guy. Let me see, because I know a lot of people in Jersey who like to talk but don't have any resume. Oh yeah, I knew this guy, I knew him, I used to do this. All right, let's see. Said, yeah, man, my name's Zach Braddock. I was like, all right. So you used to play for the Yankees, or you played against the Yankees? I was like, oh, he's like, oh, I used to pitch for the Orioles. I went bad. I pitched against Alex Rodriguez. I struck him out once. I was like, Google, thank God for Google on the smartphones. I was like, oh shit, this guy's right. He used to be a MLB pitcher. Dude, like, what's up? Let me buy you a drink. I was striking out A-Rod. Like, that was cool. Then like played a cool set, and then their way home, just like sauced on the Turnpike Parkway, like just. But I would say that was a really good one. That was like very early on too. Like that was just like I went from playing in shitty bars in AC to I played a couple festivals. Like and there's only more to go, man. Like I'm not stopping. Like right before I moved to Philly, I was really down on myself and thought I'd just give up everything. Like just forget about it. Like go get a real job. I was about to be an uncle. I was like, what kind of uncle am I going to be if I'm not like succeeding in my passion or like, just not happy? And, I had some people tell me, like the chances of me making it are like this percentage. And it was just like, so like, oh man, this sucks. Like, I'm never going to make it. And like, now it's the mentality is like, I'm happy, man. Like this is like what I love. I go to work. I have a pretty decent job. And I come home and I make bangers at night, do my B job, my regular day job, and then bangers at night all weekend. It's like learn the balance and like really like when I was younger, like the 19-year-old me was so like, let's go. And like now it's like, no, let's go. Well, let's figure out why we want to go so hard and then like attack that plan of why we want to go so hard. Like really formulate it all. And like that's why I was just sitting yesterday. Like I was like, I worked on like 3 tunes, like finishing, like fine tuning them, making sure that the mix was good, playing it loud enough, listen to them like each 10 times back and forth. And I was like, all right, these 3 tunes are done. And I'm just like, I'm not going to sit and nitpick because if I sit and nitpick, it's not going to get out. And like we said, this is going to take me back to a time in my life where I can reflect on how I made these tunes and almost be like my own personal time capsule. And if anybody likes it, That is awesome. That is the
Fuck
best.
yeah.
They don't. I still got 2 other tunes ready to give you guys. Like, and just like be happy, man. Be positive. Like what I would tell my 19-year-old self is like, just don't beat yourself up so hard and like let it go, man. Like it's all gonna be a-okay, dog. Like, just keep working.
Dude, we're gonna fulfill the destiny that we were meant to fulfill, no matter what happens.
Just only started getting into like manifestation. Like 19-year-old me was just straight up like big-headed, angry. No one would probably have described me as like, oh, everyone speaks so highly and nicely, and you're such a nice guy. Like, no one would have said that about me 10 years ago. Okay, I've chilled out a lot. Like I used to be wild, and it's you got to have that. You got to have that at one point. You can't take the sunshine if you can never really embrace the rain. So,
well, freaking said, dude. There's so many like different things that have happened in my own life, and when I look back on them, it's like depression and anxiety can only exist when you're looking back on things and saying, I wish this happened different. And anxiety only happens when you're looking forward and saying, I really hope this happens or this doesn't happen. And like in reality, we have no control over either one of those things. And the only thing we can control is what we're doing right now. So now you got this song freaking Run coming out. We've got the Free Yourself podcast is happening, and we're talking about how we've built, how we're looking back on how far we've come and excited for the future. And like that, I'm right there with you, man. The younger self, if I could explain that to that younger self, like, man.
But you know what? We all got here, right? We're all here now, and that's what really matters. I'm so grateful to have you as a friend, and just the energy you give off, dude. Like every time I give you a hug every time I see you, just because like I need it. Come here. Come on, give me a hug, dog. So like that, and this podcast thing that you're doing, bro. I want to stress it again. I absolutely love it. Like tuning in, even meeting new people, like people that I haven't never even met or never heard of. Like the one guy who you had was like, oh yeah, watch a YouTube tutorial and write down 5 things you learned from it. I literally tell him thank you, because I wrote down 10 tips that day. Yes, I wrote down 10 tips that day. I watched it, and like it's great, man. Like I really salute you, and like thank you for having me on here again. I hope the moral of this whole podcast is like, good music, you'll make good music if you work hard at it and if you keep your mind free. You free yourself.
Boom. That's how we end it. Everybody go check out Aaron Eckhaus.
Y'all better run.
So we've got the song Run, his upcoming release coming out very, very soon. I'll have links to all his socials, all his everything. Aaron, I love you to death, man.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Love you, bud.
To everyone that hung in
Let's have a great
and
day,
watched,
great week.
peace and love, unity, and respect. You guys are the best.
This thing still on?
Love you, brother. Peace and love.